Let's see what's in the package here. Sounds like a metal base. Looks like an Aces 4-point harness. And possibly another base. Yep. The bump seat. We've got our instructions. Perfect. There's the bracket and the plate. Like that. First step is to remove these two bolts so that we can add this bracket. It uses a 9/16, and they welded those bolts in so you don't have to worry about the backside. You definitely want the angle to be leaning back. Cool, so this is all tightened up. They don't give me any torque specs, so I just did it as tight as I could. Get the carriage bolts that are provided. There's 4 of them, and you will put it right here on this guy. Kind of see how I have it set up. It's upside down on that box. We'll get these 4 nuts, these 4 washers, and a 1/2-inch socket to install. We will loosely install them. As you can see, I have the washers and the nuts on that. I can slide this loosely to get it installed and adjusted. You'll next need a T40 Torx bit to remove that guy and these 2. You'll next need an 18mm socket and a crescent wrench, or a 16mm socket and a crescent wrench, or 2 of these, 18 and 16, to remove these bolts for your harnesses. These bolts come out, and I just re-put them in the harness in the same direction that they were, so I don't have to worry about them. Seatbelt bolts are removed, the Torx are removed. Now we can put this guy in place. Those all line up pretty smooth, and we'll get the Torx reinstalled, and then we will reinstall the harnesses, the harness bolts, and the actual harness that we have. Rear's installed. Let's see if it's gonna let me. Nope, that's annoying. Okay, we gotta hand jam these guys. Now it's time to install the harness. There. 1 through and 2 through. It sure is a pain to get these in here. There we go. These are gonna go up here, and these guys are gonna go down here and bolt in. So I've got the standard seat belts bolted back in here, and just remember, this is the bolt, this is the nut, this is the mount that is actually attached to the vehicle, and this is to that. That's the order in which they came off, minus this new addition here. You'll then use your 16 and 18mm sockets to tighten these seatbelt bolts back up. I don't have the torque specification for it, and they didn't provide it in the instructions. You'll do the same thing for the right side. We'll next grab our bolt, 2 washers, and nut to put in this lower seat belt. I'll do this on the inside so it doesn't rub against the strap, and tighten that down. These harness bolts also use 16mm on both sides. There's the driver's side done. We need to, if you have speakers like I do, you need to remove this bolt. Once that's removed, fall down. This speaker pops up and gives us access to these Torx that we need to undo to be able to put a wrench in the bottom of this to undo this. I only had to remove the bolts, the Torx bolts about that far to get my wrench in, and then get my 16mm top bolt here. The wrench is an 18mm. Once that's bolted in and tightened down, you'll re-tighten your Torx and reinstall your speaker. I've got my top harness straps installed. Let's run through. Now I just need to adjust the seat forward and backward where I want it. I'm gonna put it all the way back, tighten it down, and we will be done with the install. It wasn't as easy as I thought. Not having access to a completely flat cargo area is kind of a bummer, but I would prefer to ride with my daughter than have a cargo area. So this will be cool. We'll put the seats in and see what it looks like. This looks like it could be a point of rubbing over time. I'm not really liking that. And these seats barely fit in here. Taking these out and folding these is now kind of a pain in the butt. So I might see if moving this bump seat forward a little bit fixes that. Otherwise, it does look like there's going to be plenty of room to access the air filter box and all that stuff without doing too much.